Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Adam. You're watching Steady Invest, and in this video I want to talk about two of my favorite TSX stocks. They're both utility companies, but they focus largely on renewable energy. So the first one being Algonquin Power Utilities Corp, ticker symbol AQN, and they also trade in the New York Stock Exchange under the same ticker symbol, as well as we have Brookfield Renewable, and this is their partnership. So on the Toronto Stock Exchange, it trades under BEP.UN, whereas in the New York Stock Exchange is just BEP, as well as their corporation, which trades under BEPC for both the Toronto Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange. Now, over the past few months, both companies have been hit pretty hard in their stock price. It's been quite painful. So since February, at the peak for Algonquin, to date, it's now down 17%. For the partnership side of things, if we look at the peak in January, to now, to date, would be down 22%, as well as the corporation from its peak to date would be down a little bit more at 35%. So big drops for both companies, which is very painful for investors in the short term. However, both stocks, in my opinion, are great long-term buys. I made videos about them in the past, and I will link that in my description below. Both companies have very strong fundamentals, so they have great financial statements. They're run by excellent management teams, as well as they both exhibit a lot of secular growth, as renewable energy is the future and where the world is headed toward. And one of the best things about these companies right now at these prices is they have very, very juicy dividend yields. So for Algonquin, at 1863 Canadian a share, you have a dividend yield of 4.45%, as well as for Brookfield Renewable Partners is about 3.08%, and BEPC being a little bit less because there's a little bit of a premium on the corporation side of things, so it would be maybe 3%, maybe a little bit under, somewhere around there. All right, looking at the technicals. So we're looking at Algonquin on the daily time frame. I'm going to draw a few channels. So the first one being right over here. The second one being right over here. And the third one being right over here. All right, so why these three lines? The bottom one over here at the about $18 mark, we have support, support, strong support. On this line over here, resistance, support, 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 resistance, resistance, and the top line, resistance, 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 resistance. So a lot of strong data there showing us where the buyers and sellers could potentially be. It is impossible to know where the stock is going in the short term. We could very well break this $18 mark, and then we start trading maybe between 17 and 18 next, which we see a little bit of support over here. Maybe we trade sideways for a few months like we did back in July, August, where we were trading between $18 and $18.75 for a while, right? So we don't know. We're also trading below the 200 moving day average, which is the purple line, as well as the 50 moving day average, which is the green line, which are also going to act as resistance points, which coincide very well with this blue line as well. So at that $20 mark, we do have a lot of sellers, so there's going to be resistance. Looking at the RSI, which is the relative strength index, we are still pretty down there. We were officially oversold maybe a week or two ago, but please do not use the RSI as a be-all end-all indicator, as even when we're overbought, doesn't mean that we're not going to keep running. And even when we're oversold officially on March 12th, we still found more room to go down before eventually going up. So even if you did buy at this point, you still would have been okay. But just keep that in mind. And another note on that as well, when it comes to technical analysis, a lot of people swear by it like it's a religion. Some people think it's crap. For me, I'm a fundamentalist. I will look at a company's fundamentals and invest in it for the long term. However, I will use technical analysis to help me find entry points in the short term. So for example, if we do hit toward 18, for instance, and I did want to buy Algonquin, then it wouldn't be a bad place to start nibbling because we do have a lot of support. However, I would have a plan knowing exactly when I would buy. For instance, the $17 mark would be another good place to start nibbling as well. So as long as you have a plan and a strategy for the long and the short term, then you'll be just fine. And looking at Brookfield Renewable, so I'm going to look at the partnership BEP.UN, not BEPC, because BEPC was just public last August, so we don't have as much data prior to last June or so, whatever. We don't have data before that time, so we do have a lot more information over here. Now, same thing, I'm going to draw lines again. So one being right here, that's a really nice line, a lot of data, as well as right here. Oh, I like this chart. As well as, we'll get one more. why these? Support line, resistance, 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 all the way back to last February. This one, where we currently are right now, support, support, resistance a little bit above it. So we might see the same thing over here, as well as the moving averages, so that we could see a lot of resistance at this $50 mark, as well as for this line over here, resistance, 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 and resistance. And we actually had a few days last week where we had a nice little run, especially after a terrible, terrible, terrible half of April into middle of May, as well as, not to mention, the terrible run from January up until early March. So it definitely hasn't been fun for shareholders. So for me, what I'm seeing for the price action in the short term, at least, if we are able to break this $49, $50 mark, close above both moving averages as well as the support line, then maybe we start trading between this channel again. And if we don't, and we hit resistance and fail, then we'll go back anywhere between this channel again, and we'll see. So I wouldn't be buying at these prices right now because of those resistance points. So I'd want to get a little bit more information about where the stock is going, at least over the next maybe week or two. Maybe we'll get a better indication of where it's going, but I wouldn't definitely be a buyer right now for the short term. For the long term, absolutely. Brookfield Renewable is going into amazing places over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Again, watch those videos that I made for both Algonquin and Brookfield. I'm going to link them again in my description below. And that's it for my video. Thank you very much for watching. I really enjoy making these technical analysis videos for you guys. So more of those. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.